So I wanted to make this video as a supplement to videos that I'll be making in the future, just playing through songs. So I just wanted to go through my pedal board so you can go back and reference this as you're watching other videos if you feel like it, and if that'll help you, just so you can kind of know how I'm getting the sounds that I'm getting. So let's just dive right in. So as you can see on my pedal board camera, I have the Line 6 HX effect, MXR Distortion 3, a little volume pedal, it's a Hotone, if that's how you pronounce it, and then an Atomic Ampli Firebox as the amp sim, and then just a expression pedal over here. So first let's start with the amp setup. I kind of feel like that's where the meat of your tone comes from. So like I said, I'm using the Atomic Ampli Firebox, and I have it set to where I can switch between two different amps. So the first one is a top boost, which is essentially a Vox AC30 kind of sound. And so that sounds something like this. And so I use that basically for cleaner sounds typically. I don't really do distorted tones on that one. And then I can switch it over to the other amp, which is, they call it a rumble. It's a dumble, basically. A digital version of a dumble. And so this one's my more drivey amp, and it sounds like this. Yep, so I'll be switching back and forth between those to demonstrate the other sounds. So let's jump into the pedal board. So go straight from my guitar into the Line 6 HX effects, and the first pedal in there is a compressor. So I use the Deluxe Comp, and this is pretty much always on, pretty much always with these settings. Sometimes I tweak it a little bit. Like if I have a kind of funkier guitar sound I want to get, or a kind of country, more compressed sound. But this is the typical worship setting. I have one of my foot switches on the board set up. It's the one labeled level. I have that set up just to change the level on the compressor if I want kind of a boost. And since that boost is coming in the chain before the drives, that does overdrive a little bit more, so it's not exactly a clean boost, but it's on there to give me options. So after the compressor, I have the first drive, which is a Vermin distortion, Line 6's version of a Rat. And I have this on a lower gain setting, and I typically use this with the Vox amp sound, just if I want to get it a little less clean. So this is without. And this is with. So then the next drive is the Heir Apparent. I think this is based on a Prince of Tone. And this is the main overdrive that I use, along with switching to the Dumble amp. This one has more gain than the Rat, and it's nice and bitey, so that's kind of what I like about it. So I'll switch to the Dumble. So here it is on the Rumble amp without the pedal. And here it is with the pedal. Okay, so next in the line is a Scream 808, which is based on a Tube Screamer 808, obviously. This one is higher gain like the Heir Apparent, but it's a little tiny bit darker. Probably not really enough to justify having them both on there, but it's there. And so this is what that one sounds like. After the Scream 808, it goes into a noise gate, which is turned off right now, and I usually actually don't even use it. I used to just leave it on, but the signal's pretty clean when I have the volume on the guitar turned down, so I pretty much don't use that one. So then from there we go out the effects loop on the HX effects. The first pedal we go into is this Distortion 3, MXR Distortion 3. It's one of my first pedals, and it's pretty much just on the board because there was space. Yeah, I've already got 3 drives on there and a little boost, so not really necessary. But it's similar to the Scream 808, kind of that less bitey sound. And then from there we go into the volume pedal. I really don't use the volume pedal all that much. I usually do swells and stuff with my volume knob on the guitar. But the difference between using the volume knob on the guitar and using a volume pedal in the chain where I have it is the volume knob is cutting down on the signal going into the drives. And so you're cutting down on the drive when you turn down the volume knob on your guitar. A lot of players clean up their sound by turning down the volume knob. But then the volume pedal, when you have it after the drives, it'll affect the volume without really affecting the drive. So from the volume pedal, we go into the amplifier box, which we already talked about. And then back into the effects loop return. And then the first pedal after that is a delay. So this is a transistor tape. So it's got kind of the warble, wow, and flutter as they call it. And I have this one set to a quarter note. I always tap in the tempo of each song that we're playing. I actually make a patch for each song, and it has the tempo saved, so I can just go to that song when it's time for that song in the set. So after the transistor tape, I have a vintage digital delay, and this one is set to dotted eighth note. So this is kind of for the more rhythmic delay sounds. And typically I use both of these delays together, actually. So after the delays, we go into the reverb in the board, which is, I use the Glitz. It's kind of a more atmospheric reverb, I think. And I have this connected to the expression pedal, so when I turn the expression pedal up, it turns up the decay and the mix. So I can change those trails really easily from a more washy sound to a less reverby sound. And I typically have my delays on all the time, and obviously that'll give you, an even more washy sound. So that's my pedal board, and hopefully this video will be helpful for you if you are watching my other videos and are just wondering what's in my pedal board, as guitar players do. So yeah, I don't really know how to end this video.